It's for hearing. This is the example that Prabhupada gave in a lecture in a class right here in Vrindavan.
Because in Vrindavan many visitors come. They think that by simply taking a dip into the Jamuna water, their tirtha is finished. Pilgrimage is finished. But Shastra says that tirtha buddhi salile. If one comes to Vrindavan and simply takes advantage of taking a bath in the river Jamuna, that is also very good. But that does not finish his business. He must seek out where in Vrindavan Krishna consciousness is going on. Janeshu avidyeshu, where there is a person who can teach me about Krishna consciousness. That is human. Otherwise, if he thinks simply by going to Vrindavan and taking a dip in Jamuna or shaving the head and purchasing some utensils for sons and daughters, their people. They have been described as Sayava Gopa. Go means cow and Karo means ass. When you go some holy place, because in the holy place there are many persons who are very learned, who can give you very good instruction about spiritual life. So you must seek such person and associate with him. That is tirtha. Tirtha kurvanta tirthani. Because it is said in the Shastra, the ordinary man with sinful habits, they come to tirtha, holy place, and actually they become purified. That is the glory of tirtha sthan, dham. But when such sinful garbage is accumulated, it will clear. It will be cleared by the saintly person, by their purnava. Tirthi kurvanta tirthi. Again they make it tirtha. So therefore it is advised. So anyone who is coming to Vrindavan, they must seek out the devotees who have dedicated to Krishna consciousness and trying to preach Krishna consciousness to the ignorant people who are busy in material activities. This is tirtha. Therefore, it is recommended.
So, all of us here, we're discussing Krishna Katha. So we're actually cleaning the garbage left by the sinful persons. Because when they come to Vrindavan, they leave all their sinful activities, and it is only the devotees, by discussing the topics of Krishna, that they actually clean Vrindavan and make it a tirtha again, a holy place. You see, this is stated by Srila Prabhupada. So, I have a whole section about Vrindavan. What are we supposed to do here? Why come to Vrindavan? And the comments about Srila Prabhupada making on Vrindavan. The first thing is what is the meaning of Prabhupada, first of all, to set up the authority? Who knows the meaning of Prabhupada? Does anybody know? The meaning of Prabhupada is Prabhu means the Lord, and Pada means the position, thus one who has taken the position of the Lord. The same thing, Shakshat Daritena. We sing that every morning at Guru Vastakam, that the spiritual master is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he keeps the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart 24 hours a day. He is more merciful than the Lord because he delivers Krishna consciousness into the hearts of the devotees who cannot see Krishna. You see, who cannot see the Lord of the heart. So, Prabhupada makes many comments on Vrindavan. First of all, one should know about the history of the tamal tree. You've seen the tamal tree at the temple? So Jamuna, she tells a very nice story about this tree. There was purported to be a very few tamal trees in Vrindavan. One at Rasatali, one at the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami and Radha Damodar. That's all, there was only two. So when Srila Prabhupada noted that the land had a tamal tree on it, he was very, very pleased. There's an interesting pastime about this tree. Long before Srila Prabhupada sat under this tree, as we are witnessing in this footage, he envisioned himself sitting under the tree and looking at the deities of Krishna Balaram. He said, we will have kirtan under this tree. And he said, quote, this tree should be worshipped. And the soil under the tree, a teaspoon of it should be taken and mixed with sand and water from the Jamuna River. And then with a coconut husk, you should clean the Arctic paraphernalia in our temple with this holy substance, unquote. This is a very sacred place for us, and let us pray that not only now, but in the future, Srila Prabhupada's wish will be fulfilled, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas will be able to worship this sacred tree in this sacred location for many, many more years to come. This was written by Jamuna, who passed away some years ago. So, this gives you a little history of that tamal tree. I don't know how many there are there now, presently, but there's not very many. Maybe the switch has to be reset. There's a switch on top. Oh, here it comes. So there were during the 70s in America and Europe, there were other cities that wanted to have Krishna Balaram temple. So what did Prabhupada say about that? So he said, you have asked about Krishna Balaram deities. No. Balaram and Krishna are already there as Chaitanya and Nitai. Rajajandranandanaye Sachisuta Hela say. The best thing is to establish Gaur Nitai deities. In Vrindavan we are establishing Balaram Krishna deities. but most of the temples there have Radha Krishna, and there is not Balaram Krishna. That has a different purpose. We should not imitate that. See, don't imitate, don't add, don't subtract. Better to have Gaur Nitai, Radha Krishna and Lord Jagannath. That system must continue. You see. So no, we can't have Krishna Balaram, only here. Oh, where? Oh, Ujjain. Well, he didn't follow Prabhupada's order, so. Prabhupada said it right here, don't imitate. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I'm a mailman. I deliver Prabhupada's message. Whatever you do with it, that is your karma. Whether you follow or not follow. That's not my concern. But here Prabhupada said, that's only for Vrindavan and don't imitate. He's the Acharya. And will always be the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, for 10,000 years. He said, my books will be the law books for 10,000 years. So, now Prabhupada, he even had problems with the monkeys, he said, when he was living here. He said, they are very clever. Many times in Vrindavan, the monkeys have taken away from my hand foodstuff while I was eating. Thrice, at least thrice, 4 times, I remember. I wanted them to take it. No, suppose a big monkey comes and takes. You are stunned. And everybody laughs. You have to give him. No other way. In Radha Damodar temple, I was cooking the other room, so although the door was closed, the monkey knew. He opened the door and took away my prasadam. Sometimes they would take away the dough, the atta for chapati. So they will eat that. That was in a conversation. I also stayed in Radha Damodar and I cooked in that room where Prabhupada cooked. And then I would take the prasadam out and sit on the veranda there at Radha Damodar, if you've been there. I didn't have too many problems with the monkeys. My problems were the chipmunks. They would come right up to my plate and eat the rice. And I was shocked, these little chipmunks would come and eat right off my plate. So, anyway, all these living things are devotees. I'll give you an example. Prabhupada was here in the dry season when it's very hot and there's many flies if you come here. And they go in your eye and in your mouth. I think I ate at least 10 flies. Because when you talk, they fly right into your mouth. They weren't very tasty. Fly chutney. So anyway, they used to bother Prabhupada, fly around, and we had somebody waving a big peacock feather in his room here. So Brahmananda, he thought a very intelligent idea. He said, let me hang fly paper around Prabhupada's body. And this way the flies will fly into the fly paper and get stuck. And then Prabhupada won't have trouble with the flies. So he started to do that. And Prabhupada looked up at Brahmananda. He said, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm hanging fly paper to catch the flies so they won't disturb me. And Prabhupada looked astonished at Brahmananda. He said, you want me to kill flies in Vrindavan? As if they were living entities. See, Prabhupada's perspective was different from ours. We saw flies as pests. Prabhupada saw the flies as devotees. Living. This is Vrindavan. Everyone and everything is conscious of Krishna. Prabhupada said in Goloka, if there's a stone and you want to move the stone, you say, oh, please move, and the stone will move. Everything is conscious. Everything is alive. There's nothing inanimate. If I want this table to move in Golok, the table will move. That's the difference. See, this Vrindavan is a replica of the Vrindavan in Golok. So we're not on that stage where we can move a table. Maybe Sai Baba can do, but he's not here anymore to do it, so. Prabhupada, he used to say about Sai Baba, he said, oh, he's expert at making apples and making deities in the sand and putting kumkum powder on his pitcher. But can he create a planet? Can he create the earth planet and make it float in the air? No. So what kind of God is he? Krishna has created billions and billions of planets and universes. So these people, they take God to be very cheap. That's called sahaja. One who takes things very cheap is called sahaja. Huh? Yes. Yeah, he can't even make a planet. Just make a little planet. Make a Sputnik. The Russians, they made the Sputnik to go around the earth. You see. Prabhupada was impressed with technology. He said, in fact, I can give you an example. You know, during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra was blind, so he didn't go to the battlefield. He was sitting. And Sanjaya, he had a TV in his heart. And he could see within his heart the entire battlefield. He had a TV. Yeah, a VCR in his heart. And he could tell Dhritarashtra everything that was going on very easily. He didn't have to spend any money on that TV. It came naturally. He had that power, that Shakti, yogic power. So in 1993, I was shocked. For the first time in history, one TV channel showed in live the war in Iraq. Live. You were watching on live as it was happening, the bombs and the missiles going off in Baghdad. Yeah, on CNN. So I was thinking, they have done what Sanjay did for Dhritarashtra, but at great expense. Thousands of people were involved. Millions of dollars were spent. So much wasted money just to show people we can film a war live and show you all over the world. And here's Sanjaya, without spending a paisa, showing the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Prabhupada was impressed with technology, but they had to go to great expense and time to do all these, to invent the cameras, to do this. I mean, years and years were spent to develop this technology, where Sanjaya did it in a few seconds. So that's the difference between material and spiritual. So anyway, Krishna Balaram is only meant for Vrindavan, according to Prabhupada's order. So, what are some of the other? Who's stronger than Balaram? Krishna, you're all wrong. Guru Maharaj, he saw this. Now I remember those days when he was instructing. Do like this, do like this. At that time I could not understand why he's talking to me. He wanted more stress required, but many men were there and may not do anything. So just attempt. Krishna is giving money. Within a few days you have collected 50,000. Where is the scarcity of money? Nowhere in the world. Everyone has money, laughs. Money is coming there. Guru Maharaj said, you do the right work, money will come. Money will fall down on your feet. There's no question of flattering. You work sincerely, and everything will come, whatever you want. I wish I could go there. I would have told, even in this state I can go. There's no difficulty, but little difficulty. And I'm carried in this chair. Prabhupada was practically an invalid. He couldn't walk, he was in a chair. I can go anywhere. Even I require 4 men to take care of me, that's all right. Whether I'm sitting here or sitting in Colombo, it's the same. And I am taking from one place to another by chair. So where is the difficulty? And then somebody says, Jai Krishna Balaram, Nitai Gaurade Sham Jai Krishna Balaram. It is symmetrical. Jai Krishna Balaram. Who has got strength like Balaram? Prabhupada asked the question. He can do everything by his strength. We are depending on him. He can please everyone, and he has got immense strength to do anything he likes. Jai Krishna Balaram. Now these Shaktis, Asta Shakti, there is no instance as we have displayed. The temple is very attractive. People come in, they walk all the way around looking at all the paintings, talking about them, about this temple. This is new architecture. It's the most unusual temple in Vrindavan, and it is not meant for making money. It is meant for giving service. Srila Prabhupada didn't want darshan temples. Do you know what a darshan temple is? It's a temple where you just go throw some money and the people, pujaris, eat and sleep. They steal the money and gamble. I have seen it personally where they play dice with the money that the people throw. I have seen it personally. So Prabhupada didn't want that kind of. He wanted a temple where the science of Krishna is taught. So it is meant for giving service, and that is the difference. Now when anyone visits Vrindavan, they have to see Krishna Balaram Mandir. Compulsory. So you say that Balaram is so strong, but I have brought Balaram here. So I am stronger. Jai Srila Prabhupada. He's stronger than Balaram because he brought Balaram here. You see? Never underestimate the mercy and the strength of the Acharya. No, this is the right place. Raman Reti, Krishna Balaram. Mother Yasoda's sons, Yasodananda, Rohini Nanda. Krishna's only business is how to deal with the gopis. Gopi Jana Ranjana and Gopi Jana Ballabha. Yes, that's all. Jai Krishna Balaram. This is June 30th, 1977. So Prabhupada, he is stronger than Balaram. Can anyone in this movement, can any guru say he's stronger than Balaram? Yeah, nobody can say. So there is a difference between Prabhupada and everybody else in this movement. It's not all one. There is no number 33. There's 32 in the disciplic succession. Unless you become stronger than Balaram, then you can say you're 33. But nobody can proclaim themselves the next Acharya until they become stronger than Balaram. I know there are some people who think they're number 33, but they can't say they're stronger than Balaram. So they're bogus. They're sahaja. So we have to be careful. We have to listen to Prabhupada and hear and know about his personality. Some people say, well, Prabhupada's not here. What's the sense of knowing about him? Well, Krishna's not here either physically. So why know about Krishna? That argument doesn't stand. Lord Chaitanya's not here physically, so that means we shouldn't know about Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Prabhupada's Leela is just as important or more important than Chaitanya Leela and Krishna's Leela. Why? Because he gave you Krishna and he gave you Lord Chaitanya. Without him, you wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be here. So he's more important. Because why? At the age of 70, he crossed the ocean. No other Acharya in the whole Indian culture, Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Nimarka Acharya, Ramanujacharya, nobody crossed an ocean. Only Prabhupada did at the age of 70. So he had to be stronger than Balaram to do that. Because nobody, you ask anybody who's 70 years old, would you cross an ocean with $5 in your pocket and go to a strange country where there's Yavanas and Chandalas only? Would you do that? Leave Vrindavan and go to a place of demons? No, nobody would do that. Unless one is an Acharya and fearless, Abhay Charan. He has no fear of death. Then, and he's stronger than Balaram. That means nobody can touch him. That person, he can make devotees. He has the power. Just by his presence, he can make devotees. Doesn't even have to say anything. And it was like that. Prabhupada went to Mexico, to Venezuela. He went to Africa. They didn't speak English. But just by seeing Prabhupada, they became devotees by his presence. His golden aura emanating from his body attracted all living beings to become his devotee. You see? So he has that power given to him by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. It was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that predicted that Prabhupada would come. You see? That was more than 500 years ago. And Prabhupada says it himself.
Krishna consciousness in the Western countries, why didn't he do it himself? That's what they told him.
So he left the credit for me. He loves his devotee more than himself.
See? He left the preaching north, west, south, and east for Prabhupada because he loves his devotee more than himself. That's why to worship the pure devotee is better than worshiping the Lord himself. Because Prabhupada says it. He loves his devotee more than himself. You see? And that's how you get the blessings of Krishna, through the Acharya. You cannot approach Krishna direct. He's too busy with the gopis. Who are we? We have nothing. Prabhupada says this.
Dhimam bhakti-yoga. The real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. Huh? What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? There is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhakti-yoga. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be puffed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna.
This is Prabhupada's ecstasy. The love, the bhakta. You see? He always experienced ecstasy. He tried to hold back, but sometimes he couldn't. Most Vaishnavas do not express their ecstasy in public. But once in a while, we got the chance to witness Srila Prabhupada's ecstatic symptoms of love because he's so close to Krishna and Radharani. You see. So therefore, by serving him, we can receive the blessings of Krishna, of Radharani. Otherwise, you're simply engaging in mental speculation. And you will go on for your whole life, and gradually you'll fall down and find a material Radha or a material Krishna and engage in sex life. Until you come to the point of surrendering to the Acharya. Then you have the chance of getting free of the wheel of samsara. Again, Prabhupada says,
Dhimam bhakti-yoga. The real thing is bhakti.
The following is an arrival address given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on February 28th, 1975, in Atlanta, Georgia.
So, I am very glad to see you, and I am coming, first of all, Mexico City.
Yes.
So, Mexico City, then Caracas, then Miami. So I see your temple is the best. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind. Parama Karuna Pahudujana, two lords, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are very kind, you see. They have appeared just to reclaim the fallen souls of this age. So, they are more kind than Krishna. Krishna is also very kind. He comes to deliver, but Krishna demands the first of all surrender. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not demand surrender. He is so kind. So, take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be happy. Thank you.
See, Prabhupada, the key word here is deliver. Prabhupada is delivering all of us, even if we never met him physically, through the sound of his books. When you read his books out loud, that is called transcendental sound. And you are being delivered by those words. So he is the representative of Gaur Nitai. We should never forget that. And it's only through him can we receive the blessings of Gaur Nitai. Otherwise, again, you become sahaja. See? We should avoid that sahaja quality that exists in us because it's lying there dormant. Because everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants glorification. But a true Vaishnava never wants any of these things. Prabhupada never gave credit to himself for anything. I know. I was there with him for 50 years. So I know he never claimed credit for himself. He always gave credit to others, although he was doing everything through us. You see? This was indicated by Brahmananda in a brief clip about this, how Krishna Balaram, how did it begin? And he says,
I want a specific answer. What Prabhupada said, actually he wrote in his purport, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says, he created, first of all, creation. What does creation come from?
Lord Balaram.
Huh?
Oh, Lord Balaram.
No, what prompts creation? All right, I'll tell you the answer. Desire. First you have to have desire, then you create the thing. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 13. Chapter 13 is stealing the boys and calves by Brahma. What's the significance of this chapter? Stealing the boys and calves by Brahma. What's the importance? This was the last chapter that Prabhupada translated of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right here in Vrindavan, in his house, on his bed. You've all seen the photos. Pradumya holding the dictaphone. So this is the final chapter, and this verse, this purport, is one of the final verses that Prabhupada composed. So we should think, the final words are most important. So in this purport, Prabhupada reveals, he talks about himself, which is very rare. Prabhupada in his purports hardly ever wrote about himself. He writes about himself, and he writes about the Krishna Balaram Mandir. So the verse number 50, is about the desires of the pure devotees. Do pure devotees have desires? And if they do, what are those desires? And where do those desires come from? Well, the verse explains that desire in the pure devotee is created by the sidelong glances of Vishnu or Krishna. So Prabhupada is writing about the word Svarkarthanam refers to great desires. As mentioned in this verse, the glance of Lord Vishnu creates the desires of the devotees. A pure devotee, however, has no desires. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami comments that because the desires of devotees whose attention is fixed on Krishna have already been fulfilled, the Lord's sidelong glances create variegated desires in relation to Krishna and devotional service. In the material world, desire is a product of Rajaguna and Tamaguna. But desire in the spiritual world gives rise to a variety of everlasting transcendental service. Thus, the word Svarkarthanam refers to eagerness to serve Krishna. In Vrindavan, there is a place where there was no temple, but a devotee desired, quote, "Let there be a temple, let there be seva, devotional service," unquote. Therefore, what was once an empty corner has now become a place of pilgrimage. Such are the desires of a devotee. So, we may think that we constructed this temple and the deities and everything, but actually it was simply due to Prabhupada's desire. He wanted a temple in Vrindavan, and it was created. Simply even this phrase, "Let there be a temple." You know where that comes from? That it's a biblical phrase in Genesis. Because Prabhupada, he read the Bible at Scottish churches. Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be creation, there was creation. let there be a temple. And there was a temple. So it was, Prabhupada is, he refers to himself as a devotee. He doesn't, in the third person, he doesn't even refer to himself in the first person. He's so humble. So because one devotee desired, even it was a vacant place, now it has become a place of pilgrimage. And we can see that in Prabhupada's entire history, his career, that everything happened because of Prabhupada's desire. We couldn't see that. He didn't reveal it to us. But otherwise, how did these happen? Otherwise, you have to call them miracles. Like I can tell you of McMillan. I want a specific answer.
So, everything that happens in this movement is by the desire of Srila Prabhupada, not by our own energies, because we are unqualified. What qualification? Prabhupada said, what qualification you have? What is the good of your offering? What is the value of your offering? There is no value. Everything belongs to Krishna. So what is the value? Krishna looks for the love, the bhakti. You see? And by fulfilling the desire of Srila Prabhupada, by taking the part with Srila Prabhupada in constructing this temple, in spreading this movement, then you get the benefit and the mercy and the blessings of Krishna. Otherwise, you get nothing. You're simply wasting your time. You see? Better to go out into the world and get involved in the birth, death, disease, and old age. Because we're here for bhakti, not for material benefit. We're not here to get salaries, because there's no bhakti. If you get paid for serving Krishna, how is that bhakti? When you look at your watch, oh, today is June 30th, I get my payday. That's not bhakti. That's karmi. That's sahaja. We didn't get paid. You know, I bought the Los Angeles temple. I was 20 years old. I was in charge of Prabhupada's book fund, and so much money. But I didn't get a salary. I was a sannyasi. I didn't get special food. I ate with everybody else. I slept on the floor with a mat. I didn't live in a palatial house like the sannyasis do now and have female attendants. I didn't have that. Because that's not the life of a sannyasi. That's the life of a grihastha. And that's why many of our sannyasis fell down, because they were living as grihasthas, not as mendicants. We were mendicants. We begged. When I lived in Vrindavan in 1971, Prabhupada gave us 100 rupees for a month to live on. But what did me and Subal do with the 100 rupees at Radha Damodar? We had to protect Prabhupada's rooms, because the Sevites wanted to steal his rooms. They broke the locks and put their locks. I went and broke their locks and put my lock. And I put a sign up, and I lived there. Prabhupada said, you sit there. You see? So what did we do with the 100 rupees? Well, the Sevites, they wouldn't even give a garland to Radha Damodar. They never had a garland while I was there. So at that time, a garland was 3 rupees. So every morning we would buy a garland for Radha Damodar. 1 garland, 3 rupees. And that was the end of the 100 rupees. So how did we eat? Well, we did what the Goswamis did. We took our cloth, went to the Kirana shop, and people would take a handful of rice, a handful of dal, and put it in our cloth. And that's how we ate. By living as a mendicant, that's sannyas. You see? Not living on rich food and getting heart attacks at the age of 60 from eating the rich food. We didn't live like that. We lived like the Goswamis. And Prabhupada approved of that. When he saw me sleeping on the mat, on the marble, he said, "Oh, this is sannyas." Not having your own room, and well, now they have big houses, big mansions, and 500 attendants. We didn't have that. So anyway, these are the secrets that I reveal to you as a messenger of Srila Prabhupada, because that's all I am, is a messenger. And we have to be very careful while we're in Vrindavan. You see? Don't do Dhamma aparad, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said, these 2 dhammas, places, are not ordinary places. Don't make Dhamma aparad. As there are offenses against chanting the holy name, similarly there are offenses in Dham. That in the Dham one should not perform any sinful activities in the Dham. And in the Dham, if you chant Hare Krishna mantra, then it increases 1,000 times. Why is that? Why is in this place, by chanting, you increase the potency 1,000 times? Because there's no distractions. When you go to Delhi, Delhi has 1,000 distractions to take you away from Krishna. You go to the cinema, you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, you go to this place and that place, this marriage and that marriage, everything to forget Krishna, but not in Vrindavan. Prabhupada even told his grihastas, no sex in Vrindavan. You have to live as the Goswamis, no sex life in Vrindavan, even if you're a grihasta. You see, that's a Dhamma aparad, to engage in sex. Not only that, if you come to Vrindavan to learn your livelihood, like all these wallas out here selling, you are guaranteed, he said, that you will take your birth as a monkey, dog, or pig. You don't go to Golok. They think they're going to Golok by earning their livelihood. No. Prabhupada says no. I'll show you the quote. If you chant or increase, similarly in the Dham, if you commit offenses, it increases 1,000 times. Oh, Yamaraj, he loves this place because he can see all the offenses we do here, and he gives you a body so you can suffer 1,000 times more than if you were outside of the holy Dham. I see people, they're smoking cigarettes, blowing smoke in Krishna's face. drinking, whiskey. These are magnified 1,000 times. And Yamaraj is having fun because he's going to create the body so that you will suffer 1,000 times more. So Dhamma, one should be very careful not to commit any sinful activity. Illicit sex or intoxication, meat eating. Prabhupada told me way back in the 70s that secretly, every night on the Anuvasa, no, not every night, twice a month, Anuvasa, what's it called? The new moon day? At 12 o'clock midnight, one black goat is sacrificed, and the Goswami caste eat that goat. Secretly. They're eating. You see? And that was back in the 70s. Who knows what's going on now? You see? These are sinful activities. So Vrindavan Dham, Aprika Dham, those who are attached to Visaya, sense gratification, they cannot see what is Vrindavan. They cannot see what is in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says it twice. They cannot understand what is Krishna and Radha. Those who are Visayis, enjoyers. You see. And they come here. I see them. They come from Delhi. They go to Banki Bihari and then eat. There's all those food shops, and then they go home. That's not Vrindavan. That's called tourism. Don't mix up the tourism with the bhakti. And then they go to the different temples. Some temples, they got like 10 deities. They got Ganesh, they got Durga, then Santosh, then Ram, then Krishna. Prabhupada called these temples department stores. What do you do in the department store? You have your basket and you go to this place, put this in the bag, put this. So these temples are department stores. You throw some money at Ganesh and you say, give me a car. And then you throw the money into Shiva and you say, give me beautiful wife. Then you throw money in this one, and it's a department store. You purchase something. That's not Vrindavan. Vrindavan is love of Krishna, service to Krishna, without expecting anything material or spiritual. Now, what do you mean by spiritual? Liberation, moksha. Everybody wants moksha. But by performing devotional service to Krishna, you are already liberated in this body. So there's no need for moksha, because you're already liberated. By engaging in Krishna conscious 24 hours a day, you are already liberated. You're doing what they do in Golok, serve Krishna. So there's no need for anything material or spiritual. You simply serve out of love. And if Krishna desires, he can throw you a scrap of prasadam, or he may not. But he's still your Lord. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, let me become the lowest dog of Krishna. He doesn't say the highest dog. He says the lowest dog. And what is a dog's life? He serves his master, even if the master kicks him, doesn't give him any food, the dog is still serving the master. So that is a Krishna Bhakta. Whether he gets mercy, whether he gets prasadam, or doesn't get anything, Krishna is still his worshipful Lord. This happened to the Pandavas, to Kunti Dev. You read the chapter. They lost everything, their kingdom, You know, they're Kshatriyas, they're meant to rule. They lost their kingdom, they had to go into the forest, but they never asked Krishna for anything. They never said, "Oh, Krishna, give us our daily bread. Why are you punishing me?" No, they never prayed like that. They prayed, "You give me more tribulation, so I can always keep your lotus feet in my heart." That's a Krishna Bhakta. You see, because from tribulation and fear, you think of Krishna right away. So let that happen 24 hours a day. Then Krishna will always stay in your heart. Opulence is a fall down. You see. One can only know Krishna through tribulation.
Therefore it is said, Naivarhati amitatum te pram unto you. Who are you? Akinchana gocharam. You can be understood only by a person who has lost everything. Who has lost everything. That the Kunti's purpose was that when we lost everything, you are with us. Now we have got kingdom, we have got prestige, we have got so many things. Now we are going out to Dwarka. To Kwam Akunchana Gosra. This is Kunti's realization. Janmai Sadhya Sutta Srivi, Egamana Pada. Therefore, for spiritual advancement, if one is interested, they should not be too much attached to material things. If you want to advance in spiritual life. Janmai Sadhya, because this is the entanglement. The more and more we shall think, this is mine, this is mine. Aham mameti, this is illusion. Nothing belongs to him, but by illusion he will think this is mine, this is mine. That's why we have got this nice grand building in this district. If we think this is my building or my building, then there will be mishap. My Guru Maharaj said, personally, he said that when we were living in a rented house, if we could collect 200, 300 rupees, we were living very nicely at Bhutan. And since then, J.B. Datta has given us this marble palace, Gauriya. There is friction between our men. We will occupy this room, we will occupy that room, we will be proprietor. If Prabhu was giving one tablet, then this is... Everyone is planning in different way. So Guru Maharaj said, he was personally instructing. If I could sell this marble of this temple and secure some money, and if I could print some books, that would have been better. That would have been better. Therefore I am so much after books. If we forget our position, if we become pound-selling man, property man, then Krishna will be finished. Because Krishna is akinchana gochara. Therefore we should always remember that we possess this nice house not for our comfort, but people will come because they are not accustomed. If we would have invited people, come and sit down on this Mayapur ground, no, there was no possibility. Therefore, we must possess Krishna's temple, very nice, so that people will come and we shall preach. That is philosophy. Not that because we have got this nice house, therefore we should be very much attached. Attachment must be there. For Krishna's service, the temple must be very clean, the establishment must be very nice. What for? For attracting devotees. This is the purpose. Not for our personal benefit. That is, my Guru Maharaj introduced this big palaces, temple. That is the contribution of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because the Goswamis, they worship Krishna in a different method, going to Vrindavan, living underneath the tree, and one night underneath one tree, next night next tree. This Vairagya is not possible for the Western people. Therefore, we require this belief. That is the contribution. Unless they live comfortably, it is not possible. Then we have to preach all over the world. So, Nibbande Krishna Sambandha. For Krishna, therefore you will find in India there are many very big costly temples, not personal houses. You'll never find all over India. You go and see, they have spent lots of money for temples. That was the Oriental civilization. Even the Mohammedans, they would construct very costly mosques, but they would live in huts. And that was the intention. Whenever one is a little bit rich, you will find out how to spend it for Krishna, not for his sense activity. Just like this Madan Mohan temple was constructed by a big merchant. He approached Sanatana Goswami, Sir, what can I do for you? I want to serve you. So Sanatana Goswami said, my Madan Mohan, I am living underneath the tree and my Madan Mohan is hanging. So if you can construct a temple for Madan Mohan. Similarly, Maharaj Man Singh approached Rupa Goswami. They never constructed big temple for their own living purpose, but Krishna's purpose. That is it. For Krishna, we must have everything very gorgeous and first class, but not for me. That is opulence. Personally, we should not possess anything. Simply for Krishna. So, that attitude should be maintained, because here it is said, Tam akinchana gocha. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he said that niskinchana. Here it is called akinchana, and the same thing in different way, niskinchana. Akinchana means negation, and na means negation. Niskinchana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Niskinchana sa Bhagavad-Bhajano mukhasya. Bhagavad-Bhajan, to advance in spiritual life, to be engaged in Krishna's devotion and service, that is the aim of life. That is the purpose of human form of life.
So,
Therefore it is said,
there you have it. That it's only one who loses everything can understand Krishna. Being opulent, like the rich people, they say, why I need Krishna? I have everything. Nice car, nice apartment. Why I need Krishna? It's only when you lose everything, then you go to Krishna. Everybody comes for material desire in the beginning, for economic reasons, for mental reasons, depression. But as you follow the process of Krishna conscious, by chanting Hare Krishna, by attending the Artik ceremonies, by reading Prabhupada's books, you become purified of all material desires and you forget all those things. And you simply become a servant of Krishna. And Krishna personally takes care of you. Personally. He said to Arjuna, he doesn't say it, Krishna, because sometimes he breaks his word. So he tells his devotee, because he never breaks his word to his devotee, you proclaim it all over the world that my devotee will never be vanquished. Because he broke his word on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Krishna said he would not take any sides, but he became the charioteer driver for Arjuna. For Arjuna. He became the servant of Arjuna. Sometimes Krishna becomes the servant of his devotee. You see. He comes and takes care of him personally. He did that with Srila Prabhupada. He came personally to take care of Prabhupada when he had his heart attack on the Jaladuta. Prabhupada said the only cure for heart attack is massaging the heart. Well, there was no, who's going to come and massage Prabhupada's heart on a cargo ship? The rats? No, Krishna came and massaged Prabhupada's heart. So sometimes Krishna serves his devotee. You see? Because his devotee is 100% engaged in Krishna's service. And the highest service is to risk one's life for delivering others. That's why we have our book distributors. They are doing the highest service because they're delivering people all over the world through Prabhupada's books, Transcendental Sound Vibration. These books are not written, they're spoken in a dictaphone, sound. So when you repeat those words, it's transcendental sound. And Prabhupada says, I am not speaking, Krishna is speaking through me. So it's Krishna directly speaking these books. Don't think they're material words. They're spiritual words. So in this regard, there is a controversial thing, which I can speak from my own experience. What happened in Prabhupada's life happened to him. Now, this quote may disturb some of you, especially some of the ladies, because it goes against all convention that we know. And I'll explain the purport after you read Prabhupada's quote. But this Leela happened to Prabhupada so that he could become the Acharya future. He says, when my mother died, as the devotees of the Lord think, I also thought in that way. And what is that? Oh, it is a grace of the Lord. My mother is now dead. Because she is the, real cause of my non-freedom. Yes, family is the cause of the chain of samsara, birth, death, disease, and old age. As soon as you come out of the womb, it is the mother and father that change you to the samsara. They have your life all planned. Who you will get married, what kind of job, then you'll have babies, and then you go to hell. They plan your continued birth in this world, your parents. But if you have no attachment to your parents, then you are free to pursue spiritual life. You see? That's why the Westerners were easy to join this movement, because they hate their parents. I ran away when I was 12 years old. I hated my parents. That's why I ran away. And at the age of 16, I said bye-bye. And I joined Srila Prabhupada when I was 18. And for 11 years, I never even came in contact with my parents. Never. That was my freedom to pursue spiritual life. So here Prabhupada is experiencing the same thing. That when his mother died, he thought it as the grace of the Lord, because she was the cause of my non-freedom. And so she is now dead. Then I am free. It is very contradiction from the materialist point of view. Right? This is a contradiction. Everybody worships their mother. Everybody they bow down to the feet of mother and father. But here Prabhupada is saying the opposite. If you want spiritual life, you need freedom from attachment, from family members. Especially in India, where the attachment is so strong to family members that practically it becomes impossible for people to give up their family life and become devotees 24 hours a day. It's almost impossible. We Westerners, we have no problems because we're independent always of our family members. That's how we're brought up, that's how our society. But in India, it's just the reverse. You see. So Prabhupada says, it is that Bhaktanam sam abhipasataha. Quote, as the devotees think, so I also in that way thought. And what is that? Anugraham manyan manaha. I thought it is a special grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anugraham manamaha pratishtanam disam uttaram. Quote, and I at once took leave of my so-called home and went away. So that is the difference between the devotees of the Lord and the materialistic persons. When their materialistic relationship and comforts are taken away, they think it is all grace. And the materialistic person, when their materialistic comforts are increased, they think it's God's grace. See the illusion? When a young boy gets married, he gets a refrigerator, he gets a car, he gets a nice job, he thinks, oh, this is God's grace. That is Maya, that's illusion. The real devotee thinks when everything is taken away, that's God's grace. You see? This is the purport of death, of getting rid of the attachment to family members. It's the attachment that keeps us bound up in the knot of karmi life. Birth, death, disease, and old age. And to get liberated from that, then that is God's grace. Not getting material things. You see, this is completely contrary to the way we're conditioned in this world. That's why this statement is very controversial. I'm sure most of you don't even agree, and you're thinking about it, but that's good. You think about it, and you go through your mind about what Prabhupada is saying and the benefit in this verse. In Prabhupada's own life, he's talking about. So that is the difference between the devotees of the Lord and material. So that is stated in Bhagavad-Gita. In this regard, 40 years later, Prabhupada had the same realization. In Vrindavan. We have the same. He wrote a poem. He had the same realization, sitting alone in 1958 in Vrindavan. He wrote this poem, revealing his mind. All alone. It's called Vrindavan Bhajan. And what does he say? Verse 1. I am sitting alone in Vrindavan Dham. In this mood, I am getting many realizations. I have my wife, my sons, my daughters, my grandsons, everything, but I have no money. So they are a fruitless glory. Krishna has shown me the naked form of material nature. By his strength, it has all become tasteless to me today. I gradually, he quotes from the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, I gradually take away all the wealth of those upon whom I am merciful. How was I able to understand this mercy of the All-Merciful? Prabhupada's asking himself a question. Everyone has abandoned me, seeing me as penniless. My wife, my relatives, my friends, my brothers, everyone. This is misery, but it gives me a laugh. Prabhupada's laughing. I sit alone and laugh in this Maya samsara. Whom do I really love? Where have all my loving father and mother gone to now? And where are all my elders? Who were my own folk? Who will give me news of them and tell me who? All that is left of this family life is a list of names only. That's what family life is, a list of names. A list of names that you'll forget at the time of death. And neither will they help you at the time of death. They may sit around your bed and cry, but how will that save you from taking your birth again? And who knows what you'll become? Like the froth on the sea, water mixes again in the sea. Maya samsara's play is just like that. No one is mother or father or personal relative. Just like the sea foam, they remain but a short time. Just as the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea. The body made of the 5 elements meets with destruction. How many bodies does the embodied soul take in this way? His relatives are all simply related to this temporal body. Who knows, next life you may have a pig's body and have many relatives of piglets all running around, and you're happy. Oh, look at all my piglets. You see? You may be a Chinaman where they eat grasshoppers and cockroaches. And you'll think, oh, I'm enjoying good food. I take the grasshopper and deep fry and I eat it, and I eat the big cockroaches. Very good taste. See, this is all Maya samsara. And Prabhupada, he is delivering us out of this Maya samsara by his books, by the process of Krishna conscious. There is no cheating. You don't have to pay for the mantra. It's free. The Hare Krishna mantra is free. Don't be cheated by these self-made godmen who say, I will give you a mantra for 500 rupees or 50,000 rupees. See, this is all cheating process. You see? So, these are heavy verses. It's maybe difficult to understand, but these classes that Prabhupada gives, they're made to make you think about them. Think about your life. Think about your future. And what real life is. Real life is eternal life. What we're experiencing now is not life. We're dying. As soon as you come out of the womb of your mother, you are dying. Slowly death. And you don't know when death will come. You may be 10 years old, you may be 100 years old. So the fear of death is not death. The fear of death is, where am I going after death? That is the fear. What body will I take? Will it be a pig's body, a fly body? We don't know. But we do know, if we become Krishna conscious, we know what body we will take. You see, Satchitananda Vigraha, a body full of knowledge, full of bliss, in Goloka Vrindavan, with Krishna. That we do know, because that's in the Shastra. Otherwise, our life is mental speculation. So think about this. This is a very controversial point. And you're in Vrindavan. So whatever spiritual thoughts you have will be magnified 1,000 times. So that will help you to understand. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, you can ask. Any comments? Yeah, take the microphone. Can you give her the microphone?
Hi Krishna Guru, thank you for such an amazing class. I just wanted to clarify this point. Prabhu, you just told us that we must not have any attachment with our parents or something like that. But in the case of Gopal Bhatt Swami, we have heard from the series that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to serve his parents till the end time and then come to Vrindavan. How to understand?
Yeah, because that's the instruction of the Acharya is the instruction of the Lord Himself. So if the Lord tells you that instruction, then you have to do that. I'm speaking in general terms. And gradually, Gopal Krishna, what is the result of that instruction? Well, he's free. Right? He's free to preach. He's traveling all over the world preaching. So, where is the contradiction? There is no contradiction. That's in your mind only. He followed the order of the Acharya, who's none other but Krishna himself appearing as the Supreme Servitor Godhead. If you read in Nectar of Devotion, The spiritual master is called the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. So if the Servitor Godhead gives you an order, that's like coming from God. So he did that. But now what is the result of that? He's free. He's traveling and preaching all over the world. So there is no contradiction. That is only in your mind. Any other question? Yes.
Can we see it in that way? I'm just clarifying this point. That Gopal Goswami has his parents. Parents were devotees in that case, and in general, the parents are many times not devotees. Should we take it in that sense, or only in that sense that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the spiritual master is ordering?
No, actually, your parents are devotees, because how could they produce a non-devotee? They are devotees. You see, even Prabhupada said about my mother, and she came to fight with Prabhupada. But she gave her 2 sons, so that makes her a devotee. You see? And she's still living, she's 95. So she says always Hare Krishna. But before she was an enemy, but she became purified through the association of a pure devotee. So how can a non-devotee give birth to a devotee? Look, well, Hiranyakasipu, he was blessed too, because he was killed by the Lord and he got liberation. And he gave birth to a devotee. So these are individual circumstances, but I'm speaking on the general level. Actually, it's our duty to make our parents Krishna conscious. You see, that's our duty first. That's our first deliverance of service to Krishna, to make our parents liberated. And then we get blessings from Lord Chaitanya, from Krishna, from Prabhupada, if we make our parents devotees. That we should do first, and then make others. But first is the parents. You introduce them to Krishna consciousness. See, Prabhupada, his family, they were already pure devotees. But he's giving an instruction. Don't think that he hated his mother. No. You're misunderstanding. This is an instruction for us. There's instruction in every part of Prabhupada's Leela for our benefit. That don't sacrifice your Krishna conscious for family attachment, or woman attachment, or man attachment. If you love a man, don't sacrifice that for Krishna conscious. If you love a woman, don't sacrifice that for Krishna consciousness. If you're attached to your family members, don't sacrifice that for Krishna. This is what Prabhupada is saying. You see, because Krishna conscious is something you may not get in every lifetime. Now you have the chance. Who knows what will happen in the future lifetimes? So take advantage of the now. Don't wait for the future. Take advantage now. Somehow or other, through your good fortune, you have come in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord. Even though you have not physically met him, you have met him in sound, and sound is life. In fact, sound is more preferable than physical presence. Because I can tell you there were many devotees who had physical contact with Prabhupada through service, and they fell down. And then there were those that never had any and became great devotees. So it's not the physical that counts, it's the spiritual qualities, which aren't dependent on materialism, you see. So you can have a relationship with Prabhupada through his books, because it's transcendental sound. And he will deliver you from Maya, from these books. They're so powerful. That's why I'm still here after 50 years. Because of Prabhupada's books and his words. Not just because I had a brief association with him. That's okay. But the real thing is associating Prabhupada through his words, through his teachings, through his conversations, Vrindavan on one flash drive. All of Prabhupada's activities in Vrindavan. So you can take advantage and be delivered in this life. You don't have to wait for the next life. And then you get eternal life. Because right now, we're not living, we're dying slowly. Prabhupada said, your life is measured by how many breaths you take. That's why yogis, they try to control their breathing so they can live long. But we control our breathing through Harinam Sankirtan. That's the highest yoga. And we control our tongue by eating Krishna Prasadam. And we control our sex life by becoming lovers of Krishna. If you're a female or a male, if you're a female, you make Krishna your husband. Who is the greatest sannyasi? Does anybody know? In the whole world, who's the greatest sannyasi? No. No. The greatest sannyasi? No. It's actually a female. No. Actually, she's greater than any. She's more than sannyas. I just have to find it. No. No. Her name? Vishnupriya, wife of Lord Chaitanya, was a young woman of 16 years old when her husband took sannyas, leaving her without any children, but she always remembered him. So in this way, she was always serving him, and she was never separated from him. It's Vishnupriya. It's greater than any sannyas. Never separated. You see? So it's better to become like Vishnupriya. She was cooking for him, offering him. So that's why all you ladies, you can become the wives of Krishna. You see? By simply changing your consciousness. You see? When you become married in this Kali Yuga, it's very dangerous. I can tell you from my own experience. It's better to marry Krishna. Because he won't cheat on you. He'll provide you. There's no anxiety. You see. Prabhupada encouraged that. He encouraged all of his female devotees to become gopis of Krishna and go on Sankirtan, distribute books, preach. And they're happy. They were very happy. You talk to any of the older devotees, they'll tell you that. So any other question? Here, Prabhupada, he appreciates two devotees. My special blessings for Palika and Kosaya Prabhus who are doing so much for our Lord. They must be specifically blessed to go back to home, back to Godhead, without any delay. For waiting for the next life. See, they're already liberated. And they're not even males. Prabhupada never said this to a male. He said it to a female. So he was more merciful to the females than he was the males. He said, without any delay for waiting for the next life. That's a great, so any one of you could, because you know why? Of their service. They arranged the only pandal in India where ISKCON didn't have to pay 1 rupee. And guess who they convinced to have the pandal? She was the queen, Srimati Gayatri Devi in Jaipur. We stayed at that, now it's a hotel. You gotta pay 20,000 rupees a night, but I stayed there for free because it was a palace. Yeah, and Prabhupada stayed there. We stayed there for 3 weeks. And she fed us, she took care of 40 devotees, and Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Pravachan in the evening. She had a nice garden. And these two ladies, well, there was another lady, Srimati, she arranged for this pandal and it was completely paid for by Srimati Gayatri Devi. She did great service at that time. And at that time, the government were digging all over the grounds looking for her treasure. They wanted Gayatri Devi's jewels, but they couldn't find them while we were there. Anyway, there are so many So then Shamsundar says, yes, this is Kalki Dasa and Ambika Devi Dasa. So Prabhupada says, now with this dress you look so beautiful. This Vedic dress is also nice, very beautiful. It increases the beauty 100 times by this dress. So you know the rules and regulations? This is her. See? Prabhupada always glorified his female devotees. There was no distinction. He looked at them as Krishna's gopis. And we were taught that. That's why we never, in the early days, we never had any scandals between male and female in the temple. Because Prabhupada taught us to look at every woman, of course, as Matajis, but Prabhupada went higher. He said they're Krishna's gopis, not your property. but Krishna's property. That's how you respect a woman. The problem is in India, women are treated as property, not as individuals. And that's why you have so many problems in marriage life, because they think that the woman is like a car. This is my property, my car, my wife. But Prabhupada didn't think that. He didn't look at women as property to buy and sell. He saw them as Krishna's gopis, to be enjoyed by Krishna, not you, not me, nobody. That's the higher thinking. So adopt Prabhupada's teachings and you'll be happy, rest assured. Don't go back into the world. Don't leave this compound. This compound is Vaikuntha, is Golok. Best to stay in this compound. And then there's no Maya. Hare Krishna. Anyway, tomorrow's a special day. You're all invited. It's my brother's first anniversary of his disappearance. He disappeared on Vikeshwari Pandit's appearance day, who was the chief dancer of Lord Chaitanya. He danced for 72 hours straight. And in Brahmananda's memories, he's quoted, he was the first, well, Prabhupada said he was the first to dance. And Brahmananda said his first dancing was in the park, and he danced for 3 hours straight. Not 3 days, 3 hours. So there's some relationship between Vikeshwari Pandit and Brahmananda. And when the article came out in the New York Times of Brahmananda dancing, Prabhupada said, now my movement has started. So tomorrow we'll have an arti at his samadhi behind the Goshala. And then in the evening I'm going to show films and quotes of Brahmananda. You saw one of his realizations about Krishna Balaram temple. He had many deep, deep realizations about Prabhupada. How Brahmananda thought he equated Prabhupada with God in Genesis. When God said, let there be light, let there be creation, and Prabhupada said, let there be a temple, let there be seva. That's in equating Prabhupada with God in Genesis. So these are high realizations. Nobody else had that realization, only Brahmananda. And he had many realizations. He found out the verse in Bhagavad-Gita which predicts Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And that book was written 5,000 years ago. So, you'll know all this tomorrow at 5 o'clock here. No, evening. The arti is at 7:30 at the samadhi, or 8 o'clock in the morning, behind the Goshala. There'll be a short program there. So you're all invited. And then I think they're having special prasadam in the afternoon. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.